Maybe the idea of passion scares those of you who, like me, are over 50. In fact, way over 50. I remember a choir director in one of my churches. His name was Tommy, and he was a nice-looking man. He was in his 60s, and he had this gorgeous mane of white hair, and he was very proud of that. And he was something of a ladies' man, and I worried about him at times, but then I always heard from the sopranos and the altos in his choir that he was basically harmless. But he loved to say over and over again, especially to the women, and it was either an invitation or a warning, I'm not sure. His words were, there may be snow on the roof, but there's still a fire in the furnace. Have you heard that one? Now, if we took the male ego out of it and removed any trace of sexual aggressiveness from it, wouldn't it be marvelous if every member of this congregation could say in a deeply spiritual way, there may be snow on the roof, but thanks be to God, there's still a fire in my furnace. The alternatives are dreadful. A life without passion, zeal, enthusiasm. I'm going to get a little political for the moment, and I know I'm risking something, but I'm going to mention Calvin Coolidge. He happened to be president when I was born, believe it or not. That's how old I am. And apparently Calvin was not the most dynamic, the most charismatic man who ever occupied the White House. So much so that when he died, a friend of Mary Alice Longworth, came to her and said, Calvin Coolidge is dead. And her answer was, how can you tell? Well, we're not like that. But I know some congregations, and I know some so-called people who come awfully close. We are called, in the name of an incendiary God, to be a passionate people. I was so impressed by the testimony of a woman named Mary Lynn Miller. Let me see if I can find this so that I can read it for you. Yeah. In 1986, her article is entitled Finding My Passion. In 1986, a doctor with the bedside manner of a blacksmith. Peter Matina is not here, but we know he's not like that. A doctor with the bedside manner of a blacksmith gave her a death sentence. She had a serious physical condition. Her prognosis was grim. And this middle-aged woman said, it changed my life forever. I realized that my life totally lacked passion, that zest for living, that sense of joy, creativity and spontaneity that truly comprises life. Suddenly faced with a sentence of death, I knew that I had never really lived. As a result of this awareness, passion became my reason for living. It became my purpose to do something passionate every day. I walked on the beach, discovered I loved roller coaster rides, took fun classes that would not make me a better person, and read books that I had wanted to read for years. I made a list of things I wanted to do before I die, a little bit like a bucket list. And as I did them, the list just grew and grew. I wanted to experience fully and live every moment I had left. I could wait no longer. An amazing thing happened. As a result of that new approach to life, the woman's physical symptoms disappeared. And as far as I know, they have not returned. Listen to her message. It's meant for every single one of us who worships an incendiary God. Passion is not for the lucky or the talented. It is the fire waiting to be ignited in every soul. Wouldn't it be great if every doctor had a passion for healing? If every lawyer had a passion for justice? If every newspaper commentator and writer had a passion for truth? If every politician had a passion for integrity? what a wonderful world it would be. I want to take just a moment, since I'm not up here all that often. I sit where you sit. I want to say a word of deep appreciation for the passionate commitment of the people who lead our church, especially during this sabbatical period. I'm so grateful for Dan Maiden. He brings great joy with him to the ministry of this church. Most Sundays when he preaches, he's going to sing. Most Sundays when he greets the congregation, he may do it in a language other than English. But I've come to appreciate Dan because of his passionate dedication to a ministry of peace and reconciliation. And I respect him because of his passionate love for this congregation and every single member related to this church. We are so fortunate to have Dan. I'm also grateful for the passion that Amy Horowitz brings. She's not here this morning. Maybe I can say this to her in another moment. She has this marvelous sense of humor, as you know, Mimi. She's Jewish by background and is proud of it, but she fits right in at this chapel. Her sense of humor prompted her on one of my recent birthdays to give me a little verse which read, "Roses are reddish, violets are bluish. If I didn't know better, I would swear you were Jewish." She has the wisdom which can only be gleaned from years of rich experience. And you can't be around Mimi Horowitz for 2 minutes without knowing that she is passionately committed to a pastoral ministry of healing and comfort. And we are so fortunate, so blessed to have her with us. And I'm so grateful for Russell Kennedy. It took me a while to get used to you, Russell. For one thing, you have the build of a former right tackle for the Green Bay Packers. And with those great hands, how you manage the keyboard the way you do is beyond my understanding. Another interesting wrinkle about Russell, in case you don't know, he rides a motorcycle to work. And he combines a love for Beethoven and Mozart with a passionate devotion to the works of people like Irving Berlin and Cat Stevens and James Taylor. Some Sundays, Russell, I'm on the edge of my seat because I'm not sure whether I'm seated in church or in some Sarasota supper club, but somehow you make it work, my friend. You are passionate in your desire to bring a message from your musical wealth that will enrich our lives and deepen our understandings, and I'm so grateful because you are here.